Here is one more set of sample questions for the test this week, and I'm going to take you through the solutions here. So the first one, if a recipe requires 11 potatoes to serve 5 people, how many are needed to serve 25? So the ratio of potatoes to people is 11 to 5. 11 potatoes for 5 people. If we have 25 people, that is times 5. And so to keep the same ratio, multiply both sides times 5 and 55. So your answer is 55 potatoes. Part B, one large tray of lasagna to feed 6 people and we invite 36. How many do we need? The ratio, 1 tray to 6 people. If we invite 36 people, what number has to go there in the gap to keep the same ratio? Well, we multiplied times 6 here, so we multiply by 6 here, and that's our answer, 6 trays. A bottle contains 1200 millilitres of water and John drinks 3/8 of it. How many millilitres remain in the bottle? So, 2 ways to go about it. Get 3/8 and subtract, or else get 5/8 and that's what remains. But let's get 3/8. So here's how much he drinks. 3/8 multiplied by 1200 over 1. That's how you get 3/8 of 1200. So that is equal to 3 times 1200 is 3600. 8 times 1 is 8. Then divide. 3600 divided by 8 is equal to 450 mils. That is how much John drinks. So how much is left is the initial amount we had minus the amount that he drank, which is 750 mils left in the bottle. So that's your answer. Part D, ratio of adults to children is 3 to 11. So I'll do this down here. Let's do this one a little more carefully. Here's your ratio, adults to children. And we have 3 adults to 11 children is the ratio. And we're told that there are 21 adults. And the question is, how many children would keep that ratio in the same as 3 to 11? Well, to get from here to here, we multiply by 7. And again, if you can't find that number, 21 divided by 3 is 7. That's how you find it. So if you multiply by 7 here, we multiply by 7 on the right as well, and we get 77 children to 21 adults is the same ratio. Money divided Alice, Bob and Carol in the ratio 4 to 5 to 6. So again, down here, Alice, Bob, Carol, ratio 4 to 5 to 6. Bob receives 1,000 euros. How much does Carol receive? Again, we have to figure out what did we multiply 5 times to get 1,000. Well, 1,000 divided by 5 is 200. So we multiply them all times 200. So it would be 1,200 and it would be 800. So Alice gets 800, Bob got 1,000 and Carol gets 1,200 euros. That's your answer. Right, question 2. I'll zoom in a bit. First part, 5x to the power of 7 times 3x to the power of 4. Now one small thing here, and this will be on the test as well. This straight cross here is multiply, and this slightly curvier x here is the letter x. So don't mix those up. This is multiply. 5x to the power of 7 multiplied by 3 times x to the power of 4. The thing to do here, multiply the 5 and the 3 like this, and then separately multiply the x part like this. So 5 times 3 would be 15. And then the rule for this, the same number with 2 different powers multiplied together, add the powers. That becomes 7 plus 4, or 15 times x to the power of 11 is the answer. Next one, we are dividing. Again, divide the number part separately. So it's 2 over 8. And I'll just write that here in front. And it's x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 2. So 2 over 8 we can simplify to 1 over 4. And the x part, the rule here now is to subtract. If you multiply, you add the powers. If you divide, you subtract. So 5 minus 2 is x to the power of 3. And you can write it like that, or the way I would normally write it is to put that 4 underneath here. So, you know, times 1/4 or divided by 4 is the same thing. So I'd write it like this, but either way is fine. Next one. Again, multiply the number part. So 7 times 5 is 35. And then the x part, we add the powers. Now one of them happens to be negative, but that's fine. It's 5, and we just say minus 3 because it's negative. And the answer we get there is 35 times x to the power of 2. 5 minus 3. Okay, next one. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So I'll do that straight away. And then, now this is a slightly tricky part. We're dividing by an x to the power minus 2. In this case, it's a negative power and we're dividing. So that is a minus situation. So what we end up doing is adding 2 to 6 and getting a power of 8. If we go through the steps, it looks like this. Power of 6 minus 2, which is the same as a plus. So the number we come out with is 4x to the power of 8. Last one. 10 times 5 is 50. And we have x to the power minus 4 times x to the power minus 2. When you're multiplying, you're just adding up the powers. So it's minus 4 minus another 2 comes all the way down to minus 6. Okay, that's question 2. Question 3. First one, because we have 11 underneath on both of these fractions, we can add it straight up. It's going to be over 11, and it's 3x minus 2x, which comes out to just 1x or just x over 11. Easy. Next one. We are going to multiply in order to get the same number below on both sides. So if I multiply by 3 here and multiply by 4 here, I'm going to get 12 on both sides. So I have to multiply by 3 up here, and I have to multiply by 4 here. It's important to multiply everything by 4 when you multiply. So on the left there, 2x times 3 is 6 times x. 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to leave this minus here in the middle and deal with it in a moment. 4 times 3x is 12 times x. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So if you look, that's 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times 1 is 4. Then we can add up. So it's going to be all over 12. It's going to be 6x on the left. Now again, that minus is going to go on the whole thing over here. So it's going to be minus 12x and then minus 4 as well. So that comes out to 6x minus 12x is minus 6x minus 4 over 12. And we can simplify. We can divide by 2. So we can divide 12 by 2. And just remember, if you're dividing by 2, you must divide everything, same as multiplying. So that then is equal to minus 3 times x minus 2 over 6. And that's all we can do. So that's the answer. Let's come back over here. X plus 2 over 5 minus 3x minus 1 over 3. So our common denominator here is going to be 15. 5 times 3, 3 times 5. And again, we're going to have to multiply all this by 3. And we're going to have to multiply all this times 5. So here we go. That's over 15. X plus 2 times 3. 3x plus 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to leave that minus in the middle for the moment. 5 times 3x minus 1. So 5 times 3x is 15 times x minus 5. That's 5 times minus 1 there. And then again over 15. Come over here. Now when we go to add up, remember that this minus here is going to be applied to everything over here. So this is going to be all over 15. Let me separate that there. 3x plus 6 minus 15x. Now, it's minus 5. Minus is plus, so it's plus 5. Right, adding it all up. 3 minus 15 is minus 12 times x. 6 plus 5 is 11, all over 15. Now, there's nothing we can do here to simplify because, yeah, we could divide this by 3, divide this by 3, but we can't divide the 11. So we can't simplify from here. So that's the answer. Part D. In this case, I'm going to use the LCM. We could multiply 6 by 15 and use 90, but I'm going to use 30. So I'm going to multiply by 5 to make 30, multiply by 2 to make 30, and again, match everything here. And make sure you multiply the entire expression on the top there. Okay, I'm going to give myself some room over here. Right, so that is equal to, now this minus in front, I'm just going to leave that where it is for now. I'll deal with that in a second. So this is going to be equal to, you got to separate that out. There's that minus in front. It's going to be over 30. And then we have 2x plus 2 times 5. So 2x times 5 is 10 times x. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus, again, 2 times 5x is going to be 10x. And 2 times 2 is 4. And again, that's over 30. Now I'm going to bring that minus in. Everything is going to be over 30. And it's going to be minus 10x minus 10. Because this minus here, you see it's out in front, that's over the entire thing. So it's like, basically like if we had brackets there. Minus 10 times x minus 10 plus 10 times x plus 4. So the x's there actually cancel out. Minus 10x plus 10x is gone. Minus 10 plus 4 gives me minus 6 over 30. Which we can simplify. Divide by 6 is minus 1 over 5. That's your answer. So the x's actually disappear in that one. They cancel out. Right, last one. Minus x over 2 plus x over 4. LCM here is 4, so I'm just going to say times 2, a nice easy one here. We end up with minus 2x over 4 plus x over 4. So that is minus 2x plus x is just minus x overall over 4. And there's your answer. Right, that's the first page. Let's do the next page. Here we go. So the first one here is all about order of operations. So just remember your bedmass rule. Brackets, exponents, divide, multiply, add, subtract. That's the order. So we get stuck in here. The first thing we would do here is those brackets. 4 plus 11. So 4 plus 11 is 15. And then everything else I'm going to leave it there. So just write it all down. 5 times. So again, that little star symbol there, the asterisk, that's a times. Now, 49 divided by 7. I'm going to go ahead and do that because the only thing connecting it there is a plus. There'll be no conflict. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. So let's work our way through it. Then that's equal to, 3 there, I forgot that one. The next thing here, we've 5 times 15 divided by 3. So we can either go left, right, or divide first, makes no difference. That'll be 7 plus, I'll divide first. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So we do that first. I should make it clear. Minus 2. So that's 7 plus 5 by 5 is 25 minus 2. And that'll give us our final answer. 7 plus 25 minus 2 is 30. Okay, I'm going to pull this out here a bit for the next one. So the next one there, part B, 22 plus 3 times 25 times 2 plus 3. So the first thing I do there is those brackets. That 2 plus 3 is 5. I'll do that first. So what I end up with is 22 plus 3. I'll write it just as a multiply like this. 25 divided by 2 plus 3 is 5. So I have a plus, a multiply, and a divide. So, I'll do the divide first. 22 plus, leave that alone. 3 times 25 divided by 5 now is just 5. And then 3 times 5 is 15. I do that first. Again, multiplying before adding. And then 22 plus 15 is equal to 37. That's your answer. Right, part C. We have 4 times, so that little up arrow symbol, 2 arrow 3, what that means is 2 to the power of 3. And that power of 3 is what we do first. So there's no brackets to do, so we do the exponent first, the e in bedmas. So that is 4. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Again, we do the multiply before the minus because of bedmas. And that is 32 minus 8. And then 32 minus 8 is 24. That's your answer to part C. Part D, I'm running out of space here. I will do part D up here. We have 2 times 20 plus 7 minus 2 divided by 3 power 2. So we have brackets and an exponent here, so they'll go first. So the first thing we do is these brackets here, where it's 2 times 20 plus 7 minus 2. Inside those brackets, we have more stuff. So the first thing that we do inside the brackets, that's these brackets here. The first thing we do inside here, we have plus, minus, and multiply. So we'll multiply first. I'll do that 2 times 20. So 2 times 20 is 40. Plus 7 minus 2. Divided by 3 to the power of 2. 3 squared. Right, so I can add up everything in the brackets now. 40 plus 7 minus 2 is 45. Divided by 3 power 2. Now, so we have a divide and we have an exponent. And so it's bedmas. It's brackets, exponents, divide, multiply, and subtract. So that 3 squared comes first. So we say 45 divided by 3 squared is 9. And then 45 divided by 9 is 5. So that's your answer. Finally, part E. I'll go over here for E. It's a bit of a mess, but that's all right. We have 2 sets of brackets, one inside the other here. So that first outer bracket, overall that gets divided by 7. Inside there, the first thing I'll do is this 5 plus 4. So that 5 plus 4 is going to be 9. So it's 10 times 9 divided by 3 minus 2. And again, a mistake I might see people make is do the 3 minus 2 first, thinking that this goes on everything, but it doesn't. That's 9 divided by 3 minus 2. Divide comes before minus. So I'll say 9 divided by 3 is 3 minus 2, 10 times, divided by 7. Again, that slash division symbol, actually, you should treat it the same as this one, right? It's not really a fraction, it's just a division symbol. So just treat it like that divide sign. So then we multiply before we minus. 10 times 3 is 30, minus 2, and then we can get 30 minus 2 is 28, divided by 7, and that is 28 divided by 7 is equal to 4. There's your answer. Next up, we'll do question 5. So I'll zoom in again here. Okay, question 5. Hopefully an easy enough one. Convert 0.46 to a fraction. So the way to go from decimal to fraction, the best thing to do is do percent first. So I'm going to say 0.46. Start up here with number A. 0.46 is the same as 46%. That's just times 100, decimal to percent. As a fraction, so the definition of a percent is over 100. So it's 46 over 100. And simplify from there. Divide by 2, we get 23 over 50. That's your fraction. Convert 3 over 20 to a percentage. So the best thing to do here is go to your calculator and say 3 divided by 20. And the number you'll get there will be 0.15. And then as a percent, that's 15%. Okay, part C, 31% to a decimal, very easy I think, divide by 100, 0.31. Part D, I'll do it here, convert 0.004 to a percentage. So multiply by 100, again, easy peasy, 0.4%. Part E, convert 0.6 to a fraction, 0.6% to a fraction, sorry. And the answer there is, that is 0.6 over 100, 0.6%. Now I don't like having a decimal inside a fraction like that, so I'll fix that by multiplying by 10, above and below. 0.6 times 10 is just 6, so that'll fix it. 100 times 10 is 1,000. And from here I can simplify. So if I divide by 2, I get 3 over 500, and that's my fraction. Part F, 180% to a fraction. That's 180 over 100, and simplify, that's 18 over 10. And we can divide by 2, that is 9 over 5, and that's my fraction. 7 over 1,000 to a percent. So again, just put it into the calculator. 7 over 1,000, if you say 7 divided by 1,000 on the calculator, you get 0. This number, I think. Yeah. And so that's your decimal. To get a percent times 100, that would be 0.07%. That's the percent number. 160% to a fraction. Again, that's 160 over 100, 16 over 10, or if you like, that's 8 over 5 is a fraction. Okay, last question. Write in scientific notation rounded to two significant figures. So there's two parts to it, the scientific notation part and the significant figures part. So let's do the scientific notation first, actually. It just means you put your decimal place here, 1.578146. And then, how many times would you have to multiply that number by 10 to get back to the original number? Well, times 10 moves your decimal point this way. So to get from here back to the actual number, I'd have to multiply by 10 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So it's 10 to the power of 6 is your number. Rounding, we want two significant figures. So the first significant figure is this one here. So it's 1, 2, and we round here. The next one is a 7. So if it's 5 or more, you round up here. So that 1.5 rounds up to a 1.6. So that's your number, 1.6 times 10 to the power of 6. On this number, it's going to be 5.261422. So put the decimal point after the first number there. Times 10 to what power? Well, what would we have to do to get back from this number to the original? So if we divide by 10, our decimal point moves 1 over here. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions by 10 to get back. So that's a power of minus 4. Divide by 10 4 times. We want three significant figures. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. We round it here. Next number is a 1. So we round down. We leave it at 5.26. So that's it. Next one. Again, just be careful. This is not an x, it's a multiply. So it's 3 times 10 to the power 7 times 5 times 10 to the power minus 2. The thing you do here, multiply the numbers. So we say 3 times 5, we do that separately. And the powers of 10, it's 10 to the power 7 times 10 to the power minus 2. So it's multiply by 10 7 times and divide by 10 twice, is what it means. So that comes out to like multiplying by 10 5 times. Or if you like, that 5 is the 7 minus 2. 7 minus 2, add them up. The next one here is dividing. So the thing to do is go to your calculator actually and say 4.23 divided by 2.1. And that'll be your first part. So 4.23 divided by 2.1. Get that in the calculator. The other part is the tens part. So you can do this like the previous question. This is like, it's like this. 10 to the power of 3 divided by 10 to the power of 2, like we did with x in the other question. So that division part, 4.23 divided by 2.1 on the calculator, comes out to 2.014. That's rounding it off a little bit. Times 10. So what power of 10 do we have? Well, it's 3 minus 2 is 10 to the power of 1. So we'll just leave it like that. I don't expect you to tidy up your answer or anything here. Just whatever you get, you get. That's fine. Next one. So I'll do it down here. This will be part E. So again, this is dividing. So we're going to take our 2.2 and divide it by our 3.6. And that's going to be our number in front from the calculator. For the part with the tens, it's 10 to the power of 7 and it's divided by 10 to the power minus 5. So on the left there, 2.2 divided by 3.6 comes out to 0.611. And on the tens part, remember, if it's a minus power and you're dividing by it, you just end up adding the number. But to apply the rule, you start at 7 and we subtract the number below, which is minus 5. So that's 7 minus minus 5, which is the same as 7 plus 5, which brings us all the way up to power of 12. Okay. Part F. Here we're squaring the number. So it's 5 times 10 to the power of 3, and it's squared. And so the thing to do, to follow the rule, is to put that square on both parts. So 5 by 5 is 25, and then the rule here is multiply the power. 10 to the power of 3, all that to the power of 2, you multiply the powers, 3 times 2 is 6. 25 times 10 to the 6 is your number. So part G, I'll do it here. This is power minus 2. So what we're going to have is 4, put the power minus 2, and 10 to the power of 4, and put the power minus 2. On the right there, we multiply the powers. 4 times minus 2 is minus 8. No problem. On the left there, by definition, that's 1 over 4 squared. A power of minus 2 is like a divide by the power instead. Divide instead of multiply. It's 1 over 4 squared. So that's 1 over 16, 4 times 4. And so that's equal to, on the calculator you can get that 1 over 16. And it's 0.0625. And then still times 10 to the minus 8. And again, don't worry, for the purpose of this question, don't worry about tidying this up or putting a decimal place here or anything. Whatever you get here is just fine. Okay, so that is, if you can do all that, you're well set for the test.